Hello, everyone. It is Zach, and today we have the Last Night Voyager Optimus Prime from, of course, the new Transformers movie coming out soon here. And I like this figure. I'm just going to say it straight away. This is surprisingly well done, especially after what we got with the Age of Extinction toys. I was not expecting to get this much engineering in a figure, especially a Voyager figure. So that is surprising. But getting into him, this is his Western Star Trek mode, basically the same as we saw in the Age of Extinction. But obviously this is a new mold, and it has some very nice flame detail. You got a tampoed Autobot symbol there. You have the silver paint up here, and then the silver paint on the grill. Unfortunately, there's no headlights painted or molded in, really, so hopefully Ripro labels will come along and make a set for this guy. It could definitely use some there, and I think back here it'd be nice to get some stickering. But for what it is here, it's not bad. No longer do we have that ugly yellowish green color for the windows here. It's just painted a nice glossy black, which looks quite nice. Additionally, this guy has storage back here for his weapons, just like he did in the original figure. Here he has his shield, which has some nice blue, energon blue on it, just cast in this gunmetal gray color. Unfortunately, this is quite small. I would have liked to see this piece be a bit bigger, but I suppose you could picture this being like his kind of undeployed shield. As well as his sword under here that you can just remove from these little clips down here. And this has some very nice molded detail. It's just cast in light gray plastic with some orange paint. Looks nice. Setting this aside, though, you can see that reveals the trailer hitch there for a trailer that we may or may not end up getting. But yeah, this one looks a lot nicer back here compared to the Age of Extinction leader class, which was quite gappy. Speaking of, here is that figure. So you can see side by side, they're quite similar in design, but there are a lot of changes. This is a lighter kind of actual metallic silver, whereas this is a straight up chrome. You can see it's very mirror-like. Unfortunately on mine it did get some scuffing on it, so you can kind of see how the silver comes out looking a bit better in my opinion. It is cleaner right here on this version of the figure. Whereas this has the sheath here, but it's on the back of the truck, so it doesn't look bad. As well as I do like the chrome smokestacks. I wish these had at least been silvered out, but they both look quite nice. But yeah, as you can see, it is quite hollow here, whereas here it's all filled out. And their flame decos are a little bit different, but are very similar. While we're doing size comparisons, I'll bring in here, we have the Turbo Changer, which is also from the Last Night line, and they do look fairly similar. They're quite comparable. So if you really wanted to, you could have this one be vehicle mode and this guy be the robot, because this guy obviously would not be your representation. But they do look nice for different reasons. This one actually does have, believe it or not, the silvered out smokestacks, whereas this one doesn't, which is surprising. But ultimately, this is definitely a better figure, but that just gives you a sense of scale there. And then lastly, here we have the our current figure, which would be the RID Soundwave, just to give you a sense of scale there if you have this guy. So yeah. Oh, and I almost forgot, we have Lockdown. And that scales perfectly, in my opinion, I'd say. Quite nice. Anyway, moving along here. We're going to get down to robot mode, because that's pretty much all there is to say about vehicle mode. The last thing I guess I could say is that there's really no paint here for the wheels. However, the little, if you can see, Western Star logo is right there, and then over here, almost out of frame, and then the Autobot logo are on the wheels, so that is neat. Anyway, so for transformation, what I'd like to start with is come to the top here and just pop this off and get it out of the way for now. You can reveal a lot of robot junk there. Now you want to swing the sides open. They just pop right out. They peg in right there. Get them out of the way as well, and that will give you the clearance to pop open the front. This thing kind of all explodes. So you just want to unpeg everything and take these bits and swing them all the way to the back. I'll come back to there in just a moment. So what I like to do next is open up the arms here. You can unclip these pieces here, which will allow you to rotate the arms and orient these back down as shoulder pads. Now what you can do is take the head and flip it up, and then you can take this section here, and this will come up and will tab in, and it will pop in right there to make his chest. And then you can take these panels here, they will raise up and clip to the back of the forearms, removing any kibble, and makes a very nice look. So there we have his torso pretty much done. So now coming back to all this junk, what you want to do is stand this up and see if I can get a good look at it. It's going to get a bit taller. And then you want to rotate the entire waist around, and that will reveal this flap here. Just want to keep that down. Split the legs, rotate. Nope. Now this is one problem, is these are on little ball joints. You can see they plug in right here on the bottom of his leg. And they do have a tendency to pop out, at least on mine. I don't know if it'll be like that on all of them, but at least for mine, they do pop out if you're not careful. Anyway, you want to just swing these on that ball joint down to the inside of the leg, and that will allow you to move the feet down, rotate them, and then there's a little tab here and a little slot in there, and you just want to peg his feet in. Then you can take the truck kibble, and you can see here at the grill, this piece here will swing all the way around to the inside, and then you can get this piece around, and it will just peg onto the side of his leg and complete it. So there is one leg done. Do the same thing here on the other side. Pull down the foot, rotate it around, peg it in, take the grill, push it back, and then you can orient this and peg it in. So now, raising the camera a little bit, as this guy is getting a bit large. Now what you want to do is move this back up front. You can accordion these. They will slide here and here, or bend rather, and then you can just bend them in. And then you want to make sure there's enough clearance right here for this bar to come down, and we'll tab everything together just like that and make a nice clean backpack. And here we have Optimus Prime all done. And you can see on mine it also has slightly loose knees, but there is his, oh, almost forgot, one more thing, one more slight little detail. You can actually take his chest pieces here and move them up till they clip into place, just like that. Now you're done. And boy, does this guy look good. He has very, very nice paint, very nice detailing and molding, and his head sculpt looks very, very nice. So taking a look at that, you can see his eyes are just painted there in blue. He's got some nice silver paint. And overall, this guy is a much better robot mode as compared to the leader class. So I will armor this guy up and bring the other versions of this figure out, and we will take a look at their comparisons. And there is our Optimus with the other two Optimi, and it's really no contest in terms of the robot. There are things about this guy over here that I absolutely love, and I really am excited to see his Shadow Spark painted up version. And then this guy obviously is nowhere near as nice as one of these. But he pretty much blows him out of the water in terms of aesthetics. He is just done very well. Like I said before, his shield is a bit small, especially compared to this one here. I almost feel like that would be a good size for this guy. And it does fit, so actually just to show that off really quick, just to pull his shield off, and then getting his shield out of the way here, you can see that actually that doesn't work half bad. That actually looks pretty good. It looks like a big actual shield. So if you have a spare, which I do, and I don't know why I even have this, I did not buy two of these, but for some reason I do, and if you can happen to find one randomly like I did, then, well, I think that looks better. Anyway, getting these guys out of the way, removing the shield back here, you can actually see his sword can fit into the sheath that was on the back of the truck. It's down in there. I know it's harder to see, but you can kind of see it just slides in like that, and you can store his sword on his back. His shield really only goes on his arm. There's not really anywhere else you can hide it, but There is a really good storage for his sword, and overall this guy looks really nice. I'm quite happy with how he turned out. The last comparison here, just to bring Soundwave back in, just so you can get a sense of how tall he is, and he's a lot bigger than a warrior or deluxe size figure. Anyway, so for articulation on this guy, his head is on a ball joint, so it kind of moves around. You can move up that far, down that far, get a little bit of side to side, not a lot, and then it obviously swivels until it hits into those neck pieces. Now, his little shoulder pad pieces are hinged, so you can move those however you need and get them out of the way. And he technically has this butterfly joint. It just pops in right there, but you can use it, and it allows for some pretty good posing. You can get him to hold the sword. They're hinged out all the way. You can get a rotation all the way out of them. There's a bicep swivel, a single jointed elbow there. Nothing at the wrist, unfortunately. And then there is a waist swivel. The thighs, they can move out to there. They can move all the way, kick really nice. And they can move back until it hits the backpack. And then there's a thigh swivel. For the knee, they are quite limited. They go about to there, so not quite 90 degrees. But for what you would need, they kind of get the job done. And then they are a bit loose on mine, which is unfortunate. The feet, they're just pegged in, so you don't really get anything out of them unless you kind of unpeg them and move them in unnatural ways. So, again, is unfortunate. He definitely could use some more articulation from the knee down. But for what he is, this figure is great. I mean, just taking a look at all that detail, you can really see they put a lot more effort into this than I think they did with the fourth movie version. Now, this is part of the Premier line, and they are a bit more expensive, so I would hope for some more premium-looking paint, especially at their price point. I believe this guy is about $30 rather than $25. But I'm going to give this guy a recommendation if you can get a hold of him. I know he is a bit more rare just because he's in higher demand. More people want this mold. But if you get a hold of one, I definitely recommend you pick him up. I think he's worth the money, and he looks really nice, especially if you have any other of the movie toys that have come out or are coming out soon. Just to give you an example, here is his Wave Buddy. We have Grimlock here. This one's just a repaint, but he also has some good paint on him. But they look nice together. So yeah, if you see this guy, I totally recommend him. I hope this was insightful for you, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.